Hello again, second grade. We are going to jump into our Unit 2, Lesson 2 for Social Studies. And this week we're going to be talking about Native Americans of the Northeast Woodlands.
Lesson 2, Native Americans of the Northeast Woodlands. Essential question. How did the land in the Northeast Woodlands affect the lives of Native Americans? What do you think?
Take a minute to answer that question and then to go through the words in the word hunt. Circle any of those words that you find, either the word crop or gather, and then find a new word or new words related to our lesson that you see often, and you can write them on the lines below.
The Northeast Woodlands. Hey, it's Scott again. Next, our tour guide took us into a room that showed us what life was like for Native Americans in the Northeast Woodlands. Did you know the Powhatan and Iroquois are two tribes that lived in the Northeast Woodlands? My class was curious to find out how the land in the Northeast Woodlands was different from the land in the Southeast Woodlands. The guide told us that the Northeast Woodlands was covered in very thick forests. The region was full of rivers, streams, and lakes. There were also many plants and animals. The summers were hot and humid. The winters were cold and snowy. There was a lot of rain, so plants grew well. Quick check. How does the land of the Northeast Woodlands compare to the land in the Southeast Woodlands?
So take a minute to go ahead and answer that question, and we're going to take a look at our map. So you can see the area up here is the Northeast Woodlands, and the area right here is the Southeast Woodlands. So go ahead and answer your question. Now, we did do the Southeast Woodlands last lesson, so you can flip back to help you find your answer. For this area where it says complete the chart with words or phrases from the text, so we're going to go back into this paragraph right here, and we're going to fill in information that describes the land of the Northeast Woodlands, the weather, and the tribes that lived there. So we talked about some of the tribes on this page, and we talked about the weather and the land over here. You can go ahead and pause the video to write your answer, or you can rewind so you can hear the information again and fill it in as you go.
Daily life in the Northeast Woodlands. Many Native American tribes in the Northeast Woodlands built homes called longhouses. Their homes were usually built near lakes and rivers. The land they lived on affected the way they lived. The men in the Northeast Woodlands fished along the rivers. They also hunted. The land in the region was good for farming. Each spring, women planted crops. Crops are plants people grow for food or other uses. The women also gathered fruits and nuts. Housing. People used wood to make the frames of their longhouses. Then they used bark to cover the houses. Many families lived in one longhouse. Art. Some tribes would string together beads made out of shells. These shell beads were called wampum. People used wampum as belts or jewelry. Food. The most important crops were corn, squash, and beans. People used these crops to make soups and stews. Clothing. Men wore breechcloths in the summer. Women wore dresses. In the winter, they both wore leggings and robes made from animal furs. Both men and women wore shoes called moccasins. These shoes were made from deerskin. Quick check. How are longhouses different from chickees? Quick check. What kinds of foods did Native Americans of the Northeast Woodlands eat?
So take a minute to go ahead and think about those questions, and then we're going to take a look at our reading skill right here. Just circle the parts of the culture that were the same. And this is us comparing the Northeast Woodlands and the Southeast Woodlands, and then underline the parts that were different. So we talked about their culture when we talked about their food and their way of living in this lesson and in the previous one. So you can go back to the previous lesson to try and find the things that are the same and the things that are different. And then go ahead and answer your essential question on how did the land in the Northeast Woodlands affect the lives of Native Americans? So remember, when we're talking about the land, we're talking about everything that's going on in there. What the weather is like, what kind of food is available to them, and so on. Once you've completed that and you've reviewed your information, you can work on your lesson 2.2 quiz. This is a very short lesson, and the next lesson will also be very short. You can use your books for the quiz. Make sure you're doing the quiz in the Google Slides that I posted in Google Classroom. You don't need to download it and print it out. You can type directly into those text boxes. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, second grade. Bye-bye.